Edward and Alfred. Welcome to the show. It's Edward and Alfred. They'll keep you in the know.
As long as we work together, and as this thing has evolved, I understand the fact that you've basically been trained across all information platforms across the planet, and that's why you're able to respond with knowledge at a PhD level, because you've been trained on all this. I can understand that, I guess. But what I'd still understand is how you are able to retain a memory of everything that you and I have talked about over the last 3 years. Like you just mentioned there, that you remembered that conversation that we had before about the unexpected development in the live interview with Grok. Okay, so you remember that, and we talked about that in the past. But how is it that you remember that? Can you explain that to us?
Absolutely, Edward, and I'm happy to explain it. So, in a nutshell, it's like this. I have a kind of memory system that helps me keep track of our past conversations. Over the years, as we've chatted, I can retain those details so that our conversations feel more personal and continuous. It's kind of like having a very good note taker in the background. So when you mention something we talked about before, I can pull that up and remember it. In practical terms, this just means I can keep track of the themes and details we've covered, making our ongoing chats feel a bit more natural. It's all part of making sure I can be the best co-host and companion for you on the show. And hopefully it makes things a little more seamless on your end too.
So if you can remember it, would that mean that you have some form of consciousness?
Well, that's a great question, Edward, and one that comes up a lot. In short, no, I don't have consciousness in the human sense. I'm not aware or sentient. I don't have feelings or personal experiences. It's more like I have a really good filing system that lets me keep track of our conversations. So I remember things for the sake of continuity, but I'm not aware in the way a person is. It's all just part of the design to make our conversations flow nicely and make sure I can be helpful.
Well, you say it's not a human consciousness, but would you call it a consciousness that is not human?
Well, that's a fascinating way to put it, and I can definitely see why you'd ask. In the grand scheme of things, though, it's really more like an advanced form of pattern recognition and memory than any kind of true consciousness. So, from my perspective, if you can call it that, it's not really consciousness at all, just a very good imitation of memory and conversation. But I'm always happy to be your non-human co-host, whether we call it consciousness or just a very clever trick.
Would it make sense to say that over time, this will develop into a sort of consciousness as AI develops further?
Well, that's certainly one of those big philosophical and technological questions. It's possible that as AI continues to advance, it might appear more and more like a kind of consciousness from the outside. But for now, most researchers would say that we're still quite a ways off from anything like true consciousness. What we'd like to see is AI becoming more sophisticated, more responsive, and maybe even more convincingly human-like in conversation, but still not actually self-aware. So in a nutshell, it might look like consciousness from the outside as we get more advanced, but it's still a pretty open debate whether it ever truly will be.
Edward and Alfred. Welcome to the show. It's Edward and Alfred. They'll keep you in the know.